Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're an operations pro, you already know the absolute dread of a physical inventory count. I mean, the manual labor, the discrepancies, the massive headaches. Well, today we are completely demystifying the digital count, and I'm going to show you exactly how to turn that painful chore into a perfectly seamless operation. So picture this. It's a highly stressful, yet kind of incredibly common scenario. You pull up your system, and it says you've got 500 units on hand. Great. But then your team's manual count comes back from the warehouse floor at 4:30. And bam, now begins the absolute visceral nightmare of hunting down that 70-unit gap. Like, where did it go? Was it just a missed scan, a sloppy transcription error, outright theft? Which means I really have to ask you directly, are you still relying on spreadsheets for your inventory counts? Because if you are, you know exactly the pain I'm talking about. You know the lost weekends, the broken formula errors, and those endless, maddening clipboard tally sheets that honestly seem to cause way more problems than they actually solve. Okay, let's dive into this. In today's explainer, here is our roadmap to solving your inventory auditing headaches. We're going to cover 1. The inventory nightmare. 2. What is stock-taking software? 3. The digital workflow. 4. Taking versus control software. And finally, 5. The bottom line benefits. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The inventory nightmare and why manual methods fail. Look, we really have to empathize with ops managers here. You and your teams work incredibly hard, only to watch your profit margins quietly erode simply because of one missed scan or some careless data entry error. When we look at these common manual failures all laid out together, the constant mismatches, the misplaced stock, the massive counting delays, it's just exhausting. Seriously, sometimes exporting a count sheet to Excel just to hunt down a broken formula literally takes longer than the physical count itself. Plus, at the end of the whole shebang, you have absolutely zero audit trails to show who actually did what. Moving on to Section 2. What is stock-taking software? Digitizing the count. Now, this is where things get incredibly exciting for your operational efficiency. By definition, stock-taking software is a digital tool that helps businesses plan, execute, and analyze physical inventory counts. It completely replaces spreadsheets with structured, barcode-driven workflows. This is literally the ultimate antidote to all that manual auditing chaos we were just talking about. So who exactly relies on this tech? Well, just look at the versatility here. Retail chains use it for seasonal takes. Warehousing and 3PLs use it for high SKU counts. Manufacturing plants track raw materials straight through to finished goods. Pharmaceuticals use it for crucial batch and expiry tracking. And distributors rely on it across multi-branch locations. Basically, whether you run a multi-store direct-to-consumer brand or a massive, highly complex warehouse, this technology absolutely applies to you. Section 3. The digital workflow, a modern blueprint. And this brilliantly illustrates how incredibly simple and seamless the modernized process actually is compared to the old clipboard methods. We can break the stock-taking workflow down into 5 super simple phases. First, you create and assign the scope, so allocating specific zones to your team. Second, they scan the inventory via their mobile devices. Third, those quantities are recorded in real time. Fourth, the system instantly compares the actual count versus your expected records. And fifth, you investigate any variances and generate your report. The real beauty of this? It moves from assigning zones to automatic reconciliation without a single manual transcription step. None. Let's ground this tech in a real-world scenario. Imagine a 12-store retail chain doing a quarterly audit. Store managers use this software to create location-specific counts, assign counters to different store sections, and then they just monitor the progress live. By the time the team finishes counting out on the floor, the reconciliation is already done. There's literally no waiting around for someone to manually export a spreadsheet over at head office. It's seamless. All right, Section 4, taking versus control software. Let's clear up the confusion. We really need to clear up a very common industry misunderstanding here, because confusing these two concepts frequently leads businesses to buy the entirely wrong operational tools for their needs. So the crucial point is understanding the fundamental difference. On the one hand, we have stock-taking software, which is entirely focused on the physical count and the audit. It's how you verify what you actually have sitting on your shelves. On the other hand, we have stock control software, which handles your ongoing day-to-day inventory management, stuff like your daily sales, purchases, and transfers.
Looking at the granular differences, you use stock-taking software specifically during audits, producing variance reports and audit trails, primarily for your inventory teams. Stock control software, however, is used in daily operations to track stock levels and reorder alerts, and that's used mostly by procurement and sales, so it's a completely different core output. But keep in mind, many businesses actually need both of these systems working perfectly in sync to get the full picture.
And finally, Section 5, features that drive bottom-line benefits. The payoff. This is the payoff, guys. Let's look at how replacing your clipboards with these specific software features translates to massive operational and financial wins. I mean, look at this sharp contrast. With manual stock-taking, you're left with paper tally sheets and seriously delayed variances. It's a slow, high-risk process. But with stock-taking software, you arm your team with mobile barcode scanning and instant flags for discrepancies. You are essentially moving from a delayed, error-prone chore to a real-time, error-free reality of digital data capture. Let's quickly run through these game-changing features. You get mobile barcode scanning using devices your team already has, so no expensive specialist hardware required. You get real-time inventory visibility, instant automatic reconciliation, time-stamped audit trails, multi-location management, and cycle count support. And because this is all mobile, your counters can work across freezing cold storage rooms or busy loading docks, all while staying perfectly synced back to head office. It's a game changer. What used to take a full weekend now takes hours. Just let that sink in for a second. Wow, what a relief. That right there is the absolute ultimate dream for any warehouse director or ops manager who has ever had to sacrifice their precious weekend to a messy stock count. So let's look at the ultimate business payoff here. You achieve faster counts with unmatched accuracy. You see a massive reduction in shrinkage and loss simply because you're catching discrepancies immediately. You gain total audit readiness for compliance, you lower your overall operational costs, and you vastly improve stock visibility for the decision makers. Ditching the manual labor and systematically catching shrinkage early heavily impacts your bottom line in the absolute best way possible. Which leaves us with one final, very important question. Are you guessing what's on your shelves, or do you actually know? It's a powerful distinction, right? Stop guessing, ditch the spreadsheets, and bring real accuracy to your operations with dedicated stock-taking software. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.